Yes, Bhua Ji.
Okay. Vaheguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji ki Fateh. So now we have doing with the empathy, completed somatic, cognitive and emotional. एक चीज नोट की थी कि जब ਅਸੀਂ लोग ये empathy कर रहे हैं, slowly we are climbing up. You see how the energy is changing in every empathy. Somatic was what? Only emotion, no information inside. Cognitive was information अंदर दी, बाहर दी emotion नहीं सी. Emotion सी, ते ज़्यादा होवे, overload, घट होवे, तो very cold. So you see all the different you're climbing. And now we come to the compassionate. This compassionate empathy, very, very important. It's very important. ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਕੁਝ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਕਿ ਕੱਲ ਦੀ ਕਲਾਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਹੋਣਾ ਹੈ. Okay, you'll come to know quite a lot of it. Now, what is compassionate? ਹੁਣ ਦੇਖੇ ਤੇ cognitive ਕੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਮੈਂ ਦੁਖੀ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਔਰ ਉਸ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਕੇ ਕੋਈ ਹੱਲ ਕੱਢਿਆ, इसका मतलब एक cognitive है. No emotions are entangled in it. But अगर रस्ते जानते हैं, अगर I give someone some money or food according to the need, that is called compassionate empathy. Compassionate empathy. No discrimination, no relationship, nothing. You are just giving because someone needed the help. But देखिए the definition क्या है compassionate empathy का? What is the definition? You have to understand कि compassion itself shows. वो word एकदम आप ही दसता है कि कितना कुछ compassion, कितना कुछ उन्होंने प्यार होएगा. It is the ability to understand. साढ़े अंदर वो ability है, ताकत है, compassionate empathy होवे ता to understand and share किसी दी भी emotions में. You can understand and you can share. Now sharing बड़ा ये होता है कि वो उधर नाल रोन नहीं लग पाता, emotionally down नहीं हो जाएगा या overload नहीं होएगा. But compassionate empathy है कि उधर अंदर इतनी ability है, इतनी ताकत है कि वो अगले बंदे नू चीज़ां भी share कर सकता है और उसके emotions भी share कर सकता है. But without taking them as your own emotion. क्यों होता है कि जब ਅਸੀਂ लोग किसी दे नाल गल कर रहे हैं, उधर emotions है गए, तो we don't start sharing the emotions. We don't start sharing the emotion. For example, कोई बंदा रो रहा है, तो मैं भी नाल नहीं रोवांगी. अगर मैं रोवांगी तो क्या होएगा? मेरे अखर के सामने blurred आ जाएगा. It become blurred. That means I cannot see the other person very well and clear. So that means I do not share. Then, अगर I do not share, then it uses emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is not intelligence, emotional intelligence. Intelligence तब होती सी जब cognitive सी, कोई emotion नहीं सी, but अगले बंदे देखो अंदर जाके उस दी सारी information लेके आ जाता सी, but no emotions. But इस विच क्या है compassion दे विच इतना प्यार, इतना दया उस अंदर होता है कि वो emotionally entangled नहीं होएगा, but emotionally intelligence बहुत होएगा उससे. Without becoming rondu bondu, then I'll bear jana ekdam nahi, and he will fix the thing up. That is called compassionate empathy. This is where thanu bahut zaruri hai is cheez nu understand karna, the difference. Emotionals with kaisi कि ज़्यादा होया overload हो गया, ते असी उन्हां दे emotion दे नाल ही बह गए. और अगर emotion नु ज़्यादा control कीता, ते बोल कहेंगे जी very cold. The doctor is very cold. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand my feeling. Cognitive कैसी कि भाई emotion है सी, but उसने emotion जरे एकदम entangle नहीं होता, खाली informations लेके आंदा है. Somatic विच कैसी emotionally physical emotion, no information. इस विच क्या है compassionate दया प्यार इतना होता है कि वो emotions to entangle नहीं होएगा, but emotional intelligence दे नाल उदी सारी informations लेगा, लेके he will respond in a beautiful way, very beautiful way. Now again we'll discuss what is that beautiful way. Be very alert and try to connect. One question भी ये भी आंदा है कि why is being compassionate so important. Why? ये दूसरे भी तो है ना, emotional भी है, cognitive भी है सब, but why emotional is so, that compassionate empathy is important. Why? One thing is this is a meaningful connection. Meaningful connection. ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ connection ਕਿਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ? ਖਰੋਦਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਤੱਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ. This is our habit. But compassionate empathy ਵਿੱਚ ਕਦੀ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਨੂੰ ਖਰੋਦੇਗਾ ਨਹੀਂ. ਉਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਬੋਲੇਗਾ, ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ. Is a very meaningful connection. Meaningful connection ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਸਵਾਰੇਗਾ. ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ for the heck of setting, time pass ਕੀਤਾ, ਅਗਲੇ ਦੀ ਘਰ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕੱਢੀਆਂ. No. Compassionate, that is why compassionate kya? Compassion is what? That unconditional love and daya. So, okay, it is his meaningful connection. Udde koi meaning hai connection da taki usnu wo madad kar sake. Then he has all the faculties for solving the problem. Compassionate empathy person called सारे tools होंगे to help him to solve the problem. Please be alert and start connecting. What will it say? जब compassionate empathy use करते हैं, it improves health and well-being. It improves health and well-being. That means हमारी physical health तक भी जा रहे हैं कि अगर मैं किसी ना compassion करा, उससे शरीर दे तल दे body, physical body the ailment तो भी ऐसे heal कर लेते. Interactions are going to be very meaningful. कोई यपलिया नहीं है, कोई आगे पीछे दी नहीं है. Is going to be very focused and very meaningful. Then you will see that अगर ये चीज है, अगर this is so important क्योंकि शरीर भी heal करता है, अगले problem भी heal करता है, it is going to be very meaningful, full of compassion and daya. Then सानू किन पता लगेगा कि ये बंदा जो है एक compassionate use कर रहे हैं, empathy. What are the qualities of that person? Because in this platform we are going to learn how to incult. ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਪਿਛਲੀ ਵਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਨਾ emotion ਦਾ, ਹੁਣ we are incult how to incult the compassionate empathy. Quality ਕੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਇੱਕ compassionate empathy use ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, उसकी quality ਕੀ है? Lot of patience. Lot of patience. That is why we say when we are on this platform, Bacha is going to teach you a lot of patience. This is one way of inculcating patience in you. Second is, you will have wisdom. Now there is a difference between knowledge and wisdom. Knowledge is akhri gyan. Knowledge is what you are reading and what we are just not talking. Wisdom is something what you have experienced. You do not talk to a person just because you have a knowledge. You talk to a person because you have experience to it. So that person who is a compassionate empathy, has patience, he will have wisdom, lot of kindness, lot of warmth and care, and he will resolve a lot of things. वो बंदा बड़ा resolve करेगा. क्यों? Problems everyone is having. And if अगर today we go and empathize with a person with a compassionate empathy, then we will always try to resolve some problems. How? Because the person who's having the compassionate empathy is very warm, very kind, very patient, and lot of wisdom. Okay. Now let us give an example. An example then देखिए भाई compassionate empathy किन जगह. For example, you are just going somewhere in a bus or somewhere, or you have to take a taxi somewhere, and you see a pregnant woman standing. You get up and give her the seat. Compassionate. You see a very old man crossing the road, you just catch his hand and take. Is compassionate. If you see a dog wounded and you just pick it up and take it to the doctor, is compassionate. Then another, you go to any shop, any retailer, ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕ ਕਿੰਜ ਜਾके ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ हैं, भैया मेरे को ये दे दो, भाई मेरे को ये दे दो। अगर ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਦੀ ਦੁਕਾਨ ਤੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ बेटा आप मेरे को ये दे दो, मेरे को ये लाइए, आपके पास है, is compassionate empathy. Helping your friends to move in life. There are many friends who are not able to move in life. You show your compassion, your love, your unconditional love, your patience, your wisdom, your kindness, your warmth for him to move on. And even when you're doing some work, तुसी कोई काम कर रहे हो और कोई बाई चांस कोई वर्कर आंदा है, कोई झाड़ू पोछा लगान आंदा है, तो एकदम आपके घोड़े को बैठ जाए and looks at you as if she wants to talk to you. You are doing your work, and you just pause and you ask, क्या बात है बेटा, कोई बात है? Is compassionate empathy. Don't go for big things. छोटी छोटी चीज़ें जरी है ना, this is compassionate empathy. These are examples of compassion. अगर compassion है, then what is the value of the compassion? उसका क्या फायदा की है? What is the value of it? Be very alert, because it's going to take you to the next class tomorrow. Enables us to understand ourselves better. Compassionate empathy makes us understand ourselves better. And when we learn to understand ourselves better, then the next value is what? Then we can understand the other person better. अगर मैं अपने आप नहीं पहचान सकी तो मैं लोगों की पहचानांगी. I must try to understand myself. Myself मतलब कि मेरे अंदर की हो रहा है, which standard I am in, am I fit? क्योंकि जो अंदर है वही कुछ ही होएगा. Today I understand myself better, I can understand people better. If I don't even know who I am, और मेरे अंदर की हैगा, तो मानो किसी के अंदर कुछ नहीं पता लगेगा. Because remember one thing, this is a game of energy. ये compassionate इसी करके, क्योंकि ये एक ऐसी energy हैगी है कि ये attract करेगी. जदों तुहानू अपनी पहचान इतनी अच्छी हो जाएगी, तुहानू दूसरे नू पहचानन विच टाइम नहीं लगेगा. Then when you know yourself better, and then you know the other person also very better, then you can relieve them of their suffering. So दो चीजें जानती हैं. First, know yourself better. Without this, you cannot play the game of compassion, empathy, because this is a communication. You have to communicate with another person. You cannot communicate with another person with a very good energy if your energy is not good. So first, understand yourself better, then you can understand others better. And when you can understand better, others better, तद ही तो उस suffering विच कट सकोगे. अगर तुहानू दूसरे दी इतनी पहचान ही नहीं है, तुसी भी डावां डोले हो गए. पता नहीं, let's try, let's see, हो सकता है, कम कर जाए. You know, these are what we people always keep on thinking. But agar, so that the game starts where charity starts at home, first yourself. This is the value of compassionate empathy. Now, then what is actually the true compassion? उधर एक formula किया गया compassion का. Sympathetic plus empathetic plus desire to elevate another's pain and suffering. Formula की बनिया sympathetic, empathetic. Apathy ਅਸੀਂ ਕੱਢ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਬਾਹਰ, apathy ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਕੱਢ ਦੋ. Sympathetic, empathetic plus desire to elevate another person in pain and suffering. फिर a true compassion, क्योंकि ये इन formula से बढ़ा देता. हुन the true compassion किंज होएगा? I will like to do others with what I will like others to do for me. ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਨ. ਅਸੀਂ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਰੇ ਜੈਲ ਕਰਨ. I want that. This is what we all want. So what I want from others, That I will do in my compassionate empathy. Now, third, compassionate empathy heals other even in instances where I do not heal myself. जदों compassionate empathy use करीदा है, मेरे सामने कोई है, is in need, is suffering, I don't know, but he needs the help. Manu us time jana. For example, I can give you an example. For example, my knee is paining. I have a little bit of pain. I cannot sit down. But एक बंदा मेरे सामने हैगा, he is in pain and he is falling on the floor. I cannot bend. But at that time, I go and help that person. That is sympathetic because I can go to the physical, empathetic because I want to help. And I do not see that I have to heal myself. This is called the compassionate empathy. Okay. Now compassion begins with self-compassion. लोगों को तो सी compassion दे देते हैं. I'm very compassionate. What you told about the value of compassion is the same thing. First, you have to begin with self-compassion. लोगों दे नाल एक unconditional love करना, दया करना, पहले अपने ऊपर दया करना सीखो. Unconditional love karna sikho. That is when we say, heal yourself before you heal others. Heal yourself before you heal others. So compassionate energy, empathy is first, charity starts at home. First, because this is a very beautiful energy. So you have to heal yourself. You have to have self-compassion for yourself before you start healing others, before you start using compassionate empathy for others. That means what have you done? In compassionate empathy, down the lane, you'll see that you have cultivated, you have awakened. क्योंकि तुहानू पता है कि उनमें compassionate, we are going to try. I will be teaching you how to do it. So result की होएगा जब तुसी compassionate empathy use करते हैं, we have awakened. पहले सानू अपने अंदर दी awakening, cultivating हो चुकी है. किस चीज़ दी? Acceptance. Second, forgiveness. And third, gratitude. So now you can link where I'm going to land up now. So that means that through compassionate empathy is being used. I've given you the examples, I've given you the value, I've given you a true compassion, and I've told you what is the qualities of the compassion. What is it? कि जदों असी लोग अपने अंदर cultivate करेंगे compassionate empathy, that means we are healing ourselves. We are having compassion on ourselves. Why? Why we are having compassion on ourselves? पूरी उम्र क्या कीता? कचड़ा इकट्ठा कीता. Now I'm having compassion on myself. I'm trying to heal myself. क्यों? I'm rising from the body conscious to the soul conscious. That is why I have the wisdom. I don't have knowledge, I have the wisdom. So that means what? What have I cultivated? Acceptance, forgiveness, gratitude. Now you can understand that where it has gone, where these lines have come from. In every class, in every sessions, we are having this, where these lines are coming from. That means how important compassionate empathy is. That means when we are using this compassionate empathy, what are we doing? We are actually transforming the world. We are transforming the world by transforming ourselves. Compassionate empathy, ਅਸੀਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਨੂੰ compassionate empathy ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ transform ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. How? By transforming ourselves. ਬਾਣੀ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ? ਆਪ ਸਵਾਰੇ मैं मिले सुख होए. That means कि अगर असी अपने आप को सवारना है, empathetic also, we say that compassion, empathy, अपने ऊपर लागू करो. Become selfish, heal yourself, self-compassion करो. Because we are cultivating acceptance, forgiveness, gratitude, एक सब रब्बी गुण है. जदों ये रब्बी गुण आ जाएंगे तो what happens? Transformations. कितने ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन पहले होया इत्थे, to me, then the world. So it says, what are we doing? We are transforming the world by transforming ourselves. Now, agar ye transformation hai, then what are the things that prevent us from compassion, empathy? A question arises, what are the things that prevent us from compassionate empathy? दोनों ए भी click करेगा. Fear, jealousy, resentful, guilt, anger, and number more. ये सारे किरे अगेन, ये विकार अगेन. देखो साढ़े अंदर ये चीजें हैं. डरपोक नंबर 1. डरपोक नंबर 1. Always scared of losing. Because of this, साढ़े अंदर दयानिया से, where there is fear, there can never be love. These are the two end poles. Jealousy, because it arises from fear, insecurity. Resentful arises from jealousy, fear, insecurity. Guilt, insecurity, fear, anger, stress, insecurity, illusions, ego. तो तुसी देखे सारियां जेरी चीजें ये सब विकार है की. We are full of these vikar. ये विकारां दे नाल, how can we have compassionate empathy? How will we have it? So it's a very nice way if we have to practice and create these qualities. समझ लो कि असी compassionate empathy create कर दिया असी नाम सिमरन ही कर लेता. रक्स की निकलिया ये असी लोगों ने नाम सिमरन कर लेता. So it said these are the things that do not allow us. Now let us go on how do we practice. हुण असी सब चाहते कि भाई असी सारियां सुन लेतियां, हुण असी compassionate empathy करें. Cognitive भी हो गया, emotional भी हो गया, affective भी हो गया, apathy भी हो गया, sympathy भी हो गया, everything else. Now we have, oh, this is very good, this is excellent. ਇਹ ਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਤੇ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਦਾ ਪਿਆ, ਉਸ ਇੱਕ ਨਾਲ ਜੋੜਦਾ ਪਿਆ. Now how do you start this thing? They said that when you wake up, when you're going to sleep, pay attention from the morning when you wake up till the last you sleep. You have to start practicing. What do you practice? Be alert on what words I'm using. Accepting ourselves. Not accepting anyone else, accepting ourselves. कदी हद तक असी accept किया है. असी complain game विच होंदा है. हाय मैं मोटी हां, हाय मैं पतली हां, हाय मेरी gastric है, हाय मेरी शरीर, हाय. We are not accepting. Accept yourself. Respect this body. Accept whatever there is. Then next, swear you accept kita, yes, what I am. What I am, that I am. What I am, that I am. I accept. No complaints. Next, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. असी अपने आप नू माफ करना है, लोगों नू माफ करना बड़ा आसान है. Okay, I forgive you. Ego, I forgive you. Done it. चलो छुट्टी की थी, कलो खत्म की थी. But we have never learned to forgive ourselves. We have never learned. Then seeing gratitude in each moment. सवेरे उठदियां सारी gratitude विच आ जाओ. उठियां शुक्राने विच आओ. सवेर ते हुई, पलंग तो उठे ते सही, चाह ते पीती, पक्खा लग गया है, एसी लग गया है, अज रजाइयां भी हैं, कमरे भी गर्म हैं. शुक्र 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 करते जाओगे, पूरा दिन शुक्र करो. लिस्ट विल नॉट एंड. मुंह दे विच ऐसी चीज बना दो कि हर चीज शुक्र दे. शुक्र शुक्र शुक्र. घाटा हो गया, शुक्र. क्यों या घाटा हो गया? 2 वक्त दी रोटी ते है. 2 वक्त दी रोटी चाहिए तो 1 वक्त दी ते रोटी है. शुक्र. ਅਸੀਂ खाली शुक्राना तद कहते हैं Oh, a beautiful car is come. Thank you, God, you giving me the car. Because you give me the car, I'm thanking. No. Jo hai uska shukrana te karo. So they say, accept. We have to accept ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves. And we have to seek gratitude in each and every moment. Okay. Now, अगर साडे अंदर एक चीज आ जाए, become alert. हुनी थोड़ी practice है कि because असी लोगों ने हुनी compassionate empathy use करनी है. Compassionate empathy use कर दिया असी पूरा दिन एक नाम सिमरन में चले जावांगे. It's such a beautiful empathy. उसमें क्या होगा? साडा इतना compassion आ जाएगा. क्यों? We are accepting ourselves, we are forgiving ourselves, we are putting into gratitude. इतना flow आ जाएगा that the flow of compassion will flow through each thought, words, and action. तुसी खाली मिठा बोलोगे नहीं, तुम्हारे actions भी मिठे होंगे. आखिर में तुम्हारे thoughts भी मिठे होंगे. So, when you practice, these are very simple things which you have to do. Nothing to do कि भाई बहुत बड़ा कोई सानू काम करना. Nothing. It's just nothing. क्योंकि सानू एक आदत हैगी है. असी बोलिए ना बैठ जाओ थोड़ा pee alone and do your simran. No, we will ready to go to the place where I have to pay 2,000 rupees, 1,000. I'm going for my meditation. We are ready to go there. आधा घंटा जाना, आधा घंटा आना, घंटा बैठेंगे, 2, 2.5, 3 घंटे मेल से हो गए because we are used to this. सानू free fund जेरे सानू रब ने चीज़ां दसियां ना, we are not ready for it. So very small techniques. If you really want to get into this thing, then what you have to do, you just have to learn to love yourself, accept yourself, forgive yourself, get into gratitude, and let the flow of that love move. Now, on edge a word, compassion hai. What is it? It is just a word. No, it's just not a word of COMPASSINAT. No, it's a way of being. ਅਸੀਂ खाली doing ही कर दे रहे हैं. मैं ये कर ला, मैं वो कर ला, वो कर. ਅਸੀਂ कदी अपने आप ਨੂੰ I've never learned to be in a being of oneness. So compassionate is what is love. प्यार है. Love is God. Forgiving is God. Daya is God. So this word of compassion is not a word of just doing or thing. It is a word of being. जीन दा तरीका है. It is just love in action. Empathy. Compassionate empathy is a concept, is the love in action. प्यार है ना, वो action में जा गया. I have lot of love. I say मनो बड़ा प्यार सब कुछ है, पर मैं चुप करके बैठी रहूं. Love is not in action. पर मेरे सामने कुछ चीज हो जाए, मैं उसको फटाफट चुक लाऊं, उसको कुछ चीज दे दूं. That means my love is in action. Then this is what going beyond all pain. It goes beyond when you see the pain of others. ਅਸੀਂ खाली अपने दुखड़े लेके बैठे हैं. मनु पेन, मैं बकरी वकल मैं करते रहते हैं. We have never seen. We rise above our pain. कदी कदी क्या जानते ना कि ਅਸੀਂ बड़ी प्रॉब्लम, बड़ी दुख ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੇ, ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ बड़ी दुख ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੇ ਹੋ, तो divert your attention and help another person the same way. ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ dilute ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ. So in compassionate empathy, you rise above your pain. अपने दर्द तो उठ के you see the pain of others. And in that compassionate empathy, you do not include yourself. नहीं तो ऐसे लोग एक लैंड देन द. Why? Because compassionate empathy is to heal the hurt of other people. It is the thing to heal other people, compassionate empathy. So, it's my request on this platform, please start practicing very small. ये already तुसी लोग कर रहे. सवेरे उठदियां सारी, look at your body. Accept yourself. I accept myself. I am that I am. I am what? I am not this hoo-ha, मैं करने वाली. I am that I am. I am Mana Tu Jot Swarup hai is so lovable, so beautiful. And I'm sorry for whatever I have done. My gratitude, शुक्राना शुरू तो करोगे तो रात तक शुक्राने विच ही रह जाओगे. And let the love come into your every word, actions and thoughts. Simple thing. Practice karoge to compassionate empathy aa jayegi. So now you can understand out of all the empathies of 6 empathies which we have done, somatic, hypnotic, emotion, affective, then now we are doing the compassion. Which is the best? Best is this. So shouldn't we all try and practice and become this? Shouldn't we? Ek empathy use karan de naal, do you know where you're going to be elevated? Where your evolution comes? Mani kehnden kiv satyara hoye kiv koode tutte paal kam rijai chalna nanak likhya na. So satyar hona, get into this field of compassionate empathy. Just train yourself. Pehle sanu pata hi nahi si, we were ignorant now. Now this knowledge is flowing. Write it down, read it, understand. Go through all the series again. And please, my humble request, practice. So tomorrow I will be taking you the empathy on the spiritual empathy. So now, Arvinder, any questions?
Gratitude should be a daily practice for all of us. With gratitude, we achieve love, peace, harmony, and empathy. Let the gift of gratitude be a way of life. On this note, we open our Q&A session. Before I address the hand raise, there's one urgent question, Bhua Ji. Somebody wants to know who's staying long distance, overseas. So she says, how do you offer empathy to a person who's staying so far away? You cannot, there's no touch therapy involved. There's no body language, nothing. You're just relying on words. So online or through the phone, how does one empathize?
See, what happens, I told you before, there is a lot of exchange of energies. Empathy, maybe you cannot do it in words. Maybe you cannot do it in action. But remember your thoughts. Your thoughts have to be very, very pure. It has to be very, very pure. And see that it is all unconditional. This unconditional has to be there. Compassionate means unconditional love. This can be given even if the person is far away, you can. Now, when you are giving this, the energy flows. To see socha, the energy is gone. Don't underestimate these energies. Mali socha, energy is gone. और अगर मैं सोचा कि okay, I've done, हाय पता नहीं पहुंचता कि नहीं पहुंचता तो ये भी गया. ये भी जाकर तो confusion create कर देगा. So be very focused on your energies. So when you are using this compassionate empathy, then be very careful कि कोई hypocrisy नहीं होनी चाहिए, कोई मिलावट नहीं होनी चाहिए और पूरा भरोसा. Because I'm telling you, compassionate empathy is Naam Simran, the highest tool. There's no other tool beside this. Those who are reading the Guru Granth Sahib, you hold the whole of the Guru Granth Sahib. There's no higher platform than Naam Simran. So be very careful that when you are practicing this, unconditional discrimination नहीं होना चाहिए. अगर तुहाडे को 3 बंदे हैगे ओवरसीज हैगे, एक मेरी अपनी बहन है, एक हो सकता है मेरा सोहरा होवे, एक हो सकता है whom I don't know much, but I'm using for my sister because that is more important. Empathy नहीं जाएगी. Sorry, नहीं जाएगी empathy. It has to be that beautiful energy. It's a very beautiful energy. I told you, empathy, sympathy plus the desire to elevate. Elevate तद ही कर सकोगे अगर तुसी खुद पहले elevate तो हो. अगर मेरे अंदर एक discrimination आ गई, that means I'm not elevated. हाली भी मैं सोचे मेरा अपना ते तोड़ा elevation नहीं आएगा. So these all points have to be very clear. It will reach, but these are the conditions which you have to go through. Hanji.
Ji, Bhua Ji, exactly. Energy introduces us even before we enter the room.
Yes.
Ji, Rajwan Ji.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਭੂਆ ਜੀ।
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਬੱਚਾ।
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੇਰਾ ਕੱਲ ਦਾ ਇੱਕ ਸਵਾਲ ਰਹਿ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ,
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਉਹ ਅਨਮਿਊਟ ਔਰ ਐਸੇ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਨਮਿਊਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ,
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਫਿਰ ਮੈਮ ਨੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ, ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਬੰਦ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਮਤਲਬ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਊਟ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ।
ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਸੀ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਲੋਕ ਇਹ ਇਮੋਸ਼ਨਲ ਐਮਪੈਥੀ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ। ਵਾਟ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਬਿਗ ਹਸਪੀਟਲਸ? ਉੱਥੇ ਤਾਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, ਵੇਰੀਅਸ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟਸ ਹੈ, ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਹਸਪਤਾਲ ਹੈ, ਨਰਸ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਰੁੱਖੇ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਨੇ, ਨਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਿੱਲ ਦੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਫਿਕਰ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਪੇਸ਼ੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਖਿਆਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ। ਉੱਥੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਇਸਤੇਮਾਲ?
So that is empathy, that is emotional empathy, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ emotion ਨੂੰ withdraw ਕਰ ਲਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ, one overflows and one pull ਕਰ ਲਿੱਤਾ, control ਕਰ ਲਿੱਤਾ। ਔਰ emotional empathy is balance, it should be balanced, it should not overflow and it should not be pulled। but doctors लोग आजकल emotionally, आजकल अस्पतालों में देखो, they have no value for life, no value for life। why? Because emotion has been pulled, उन्होंने उसको खींच लेता है। That is why they say आजकल डॉक्टर ने कौन भरोसा है, they are so cold, they have no value for life। that is why we say, because ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਖਿੱਚ ਲਿੱਤਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ।
ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੈ ਮੇਰਾ, ਹਾਂ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਵੀ ਕੰਪੈਸ਼ਨੇਟ ਐਮਪੈਥੀ, ਸੈਲਫ ਐਕਸੈਪਟੈਂਸ, ਗ੍ਰੈਟੀਟਿਊਡ, ਨਾਲੇ ਵਿਜ਼ਡਮ, ਦੋ ਤਿੰਨ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਚਾਹੀਦੀਆਂ।
forgiveness acceptance gratitude। ਹਾਂਜੀ,
ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਬੰਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕਰੇ ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ, ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਗਿਆਨੀ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਵੱਧ ਕਰੇ।
ਸੀ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਤੇ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕ ਇੱਕ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾ ਨਾਮ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕਰੋ, ਕਰਦੇ ਨਾ ਨਾਮ ਸਿਮਰਨ। this is another version। ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਕਿ ਜਿਸਨੇ ਕੰਪੈਸ਼ਨੇਟ ਐਮਪੈਥੀ ਕਰ ਲਿੱਤਾ ਔਰ ਜਿਸਨੇ ਐਕਸੈਪਟੈਂਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਟੋਟਲ ਐਕਸੈਪਟੈਂਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਜਾਂ ਫॉरगिवनेस ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਗਿਆ, ਗ੍ਰੈਟੀਟਿਊਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਗਿਆ। so what are we all doing on this platform from 2 years? ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ? we are just inculcating all this inside us। that was a naam simran, or we are inculcating into ourselves as compassionate empathy।
but without naam simran ਇਹ ਕੁਆਲਿਟੀਜ਼ ਆ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ। ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ
ਦੇਖੋ, ਹਾਂ ਨਾਮ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਪਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕ ਐਕਸੈਪਟੈਂਸ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਦੋਂ ਇੱਕ ਬੰਦਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਆਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਓਕੇ, ਐਂਡ ਦੈਟ ਪਰਸਨ, I don't know who it is, XYZ, okay, I accept him as he is, I accept him as he is। ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਐਕਸੈਪਟ ਤਦ ਹੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਾਂਗੀ as I will not judge him anywhere until I have the power of acceptance। ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਐਕਸੈਪਟੈਂਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ, I don't even have the power of acceptance। ਮੈਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਐਕਸੈਪਟ ਕਰਾਂਗੀ? so I have to inculcate acceptance।
he should be able to others mind na।
ਹਾਂਜੀ,
he will get a knack of reading the
yes,
other patient's mind also।
yes, because when the compassionate and empathy starts, when you are total in acceptance, ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਕੋਲ ਆਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਉਸ ਬੰਦੇ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੂਰੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ acceptance ਹੋਣੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਦੁੱਖ ਦਰਦ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਇਆ ਹੈ, total acceptance, no judgment, no blame game ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। you will find that if you go with a compassionate empathy, ਉਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਗੱਲ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਹਿ ਦੇਗਾ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਕਹਿਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ। why? because he feels the warmth, he feels that love, he feels as if I'm very secure। ਉਹਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਉਸ ਪੇਸ਼ੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਜਾਏਗਾ, ਉਸ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਦੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਆ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਤਨਾ ਵਾਰਮਥ ਮਿਲ ਰਿਹਾ। ਉਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਮੇਰੀ ਇਹੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਾਂ।
10ਵੇਂ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਨੇ ਉਹੀ ਕਹਿਣਾ, ਜਿਨ ਪ੍ਰੇਮ ਕੀਓ ਤੇ ਤਿਨੀ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਪਾਇਓ। ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਹਾਂਜੀ,
ਉਹੀ ਆ,
ਫਿਰ ਉਹੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਨਾ, that is compassion। ਪਰ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਦੇਖਣਾ ਪਏਗਾ ਨਾ, ਪਹਿਲੇ ਤਾਂ have compassion for yourself, no? First we have to inculcate this, we have to heal ourselves। जब तक ਅਸੀਂ अपने आप ਨੂੰ heal नहीं करेंगे, we cannot heal anyone। this is what we have learned before also। so that means compassion, empathy is so important for us। is just like applying naam simran।
ब्रह्म ज्ञानी,
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਬ੍ਰਹਮ ਗਿਆਨੀ हाँ जी अरविंदर
जी Bhua Ji, Bhua Ji, अगला सवाल है that in life you meet so many people. Some are acquaintances whom you don't know very well. Now, if a situation arises and you offer sympathy, not empathy, so what is wrong in that, considering you hardly know the person?
See, when you are applying only sympathy means कि भाई this is what we are always doing. ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕ ਤੇ ਇਹੀ ਤੇ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਦੋ ਗੱਲ ਕਹਿ ਦਿੱਤੀ, ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਉਸਨੇ ਪਾਸ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਖਾਣਾ ਦੇ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਜੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਜੀ, ਕਸ finished. But we're not interested in what the person is going through, that problem, that experience we are not understanding. Is superficial, we are doing it, and we are doing in life. ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਵੀ ਇਹੀ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. ਅਸੀਂ ਕਰ ਇਹੀ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. That is why we did so much in detail, that how we slowly from sympathy, we have to come to empathy, and from empathy also we have to come to compassionate empathy. This is how we are climbing, elevating ourselves. Sympathy सारे कर रहे हैं ना. इस शोबिस जरा चले सब sympathy हो रहा है.
Right, Bhua Ji. Bhua Ji, अगला सवाल है about social activists, like people who are dead against killing of animals, chopping of trees. So what type of empathy, sympathy is that?
See, killing of animal or trees and all. Definitely, if they slaughter the animal in front of us, it becomes actually pathetic for us. Because we can see the hue and cry, we can see the fear. That fear, we take it. We can see in the eyes of the animal. And in that slaughter, we have immediately a somatic empathy. Because it goes over a whole body. So hinge लगेगा जैसे सारे कोई current pass कर गया. We can feel the thing. That is somatic. But nothing to do with the cognitive, because we cannot enter there. No empathy. It is only somatic. Okay. Now compassionate देखा जाए. So there are people who think that we should not slaughter. Yes, okay, because there is life in everyone. But because there are certain myths, according to the religion they have made, that ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਾਣਾ. Leave alone these things. ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਸਨੇ ਇਤਨਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਕਮਾਇਆ, ਇਸਨੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਖੂਨ ਚੂਸ ਕੇ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਹੈ. Isn't it just like slaughtering an animal? Isn't it slaughtering an animal? ਅਸੀਂ ਦੁੱਧ ਦਾ ਕਹਿ ਛੋੜਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਦੁੱਧ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀਣਾ. ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਕਾਵ ਦਾ ਦੁੱਧ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕ ਦਾ ਹੱਕ ਮਾਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ. ਤੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਲੋਕ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, what people we are doing. ਜਦੋਂ ਨੌਕਰ ਆਉਂਦੇ, ਜਦੋਂ I've heard seen people, ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਪੇਟਾਂ ਤੇ 2-3 ਰੋਟੀ ਪਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ, ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਬਸ 3 ਹੀ ਰੋਟੀ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ. Imagine, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੁੱਧ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੀ ਲਿੱਤਾ ਉਸ ਮਾਂ ਦਾ. Because we are all on the external form. ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੀ ਅੰਦਰ ਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ. ਜਿਸ ਦਿਨ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਅੰਦਰ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਔਰ ਬਾਹਰ ਦਾ ਸਿੰਕਰਨਾਈਜ਼ ਕਰ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਨਾ, ਫਿਰ ਤੇ ਖੇਡ ਬਣੀ. I don't slaughter, I don't have milk, I don't have this. Okay, very good, you're not having. But ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੰਦਰ ਵੀ ਝਾਂਕ ਕੇ ਦੇਖੋ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਲਹੂ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖਿੱਚ ਕੇ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਪਏ ਹੋ, ਕਿਸੇ ਦਾ ਹੱਕ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾਇਆ ਦਿਖਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ. It is worse than slaughtering an animal. Because when this universe was created, it was created for mankind to enjoy. It was made for mankind to enjoy. Bigger animals were killing the smaller animals. The biggest animal were killing the other smaller animals. Men were killing the animals. This is how the universe was made. ठीक है, आज लोगों ने एक ऐसा बना लेता है कि वो मांस तो बगैर रह नहीं सकते, एक रस बना लेता है. And रस किसी तरीके दा होवे, बेशक वो मांस दा होवे, बेशक वो चाह दा होवे, it is not good. But then you say that we call this as compassionate empathy. I'm sorry, no. Compassionate
Excellent.
empathy is a very high thing. It's a very high. What do you say, Arvind? What do you say?
Well, you have to be neutral on this platform. Bhua Ji, अगला सवाल है, if you are a spiritual empath and you have some issue in your life, So can you deal with it without receiving empathy from others? Or do you always need empathy irrespective of the type of person you are?
Repeat once again.
You are a spiritual empath, right?
Okay.
Now there is some issue in your life. Will you be able to deal with it without receiving empathy from anybody? Can you handle it yourself? Or does one always need empathy irrespective of the level in which you are?
See, when a person is in the spiritual empathy, it means that the person is whole. Does not depend on anyone else. Whole means pura complete, baad mein kisi din dependent nahi hai. We are only dependent on the outside person only if I'm not whole, I'm not a complete. So a spiritual empathy is also a very high level. कि जो भी हो रहा है बड़ा बिंदास होना पड़ता है, बड़ा ऐसा एक शेर दा दिल चाहिए है, शेर दा दिल चाहिए है. Then the person who is on spiritual does not need empathy of any sort from anyone because he is complete. That is the spiritual empathy, because he is complete.
Excellent, superb Bhua Ji. जी राजवन जी, आप जी का एक और सवाल है.
हाँ जी, और एक सवाल है.
हाँ जी दोस्तों
जी.
जी, some time back I had a poultry farm. And then to eliminate the middleman, I had opened a counter also, and I used to supply the broilers to the hotels also. And while I was selling the chicken, two persons, one lady and one man, they stopped the vehicle in front of my outlet, and they waited for some time. Right. When they came near to me, I asked them, what do you want? Are you a customer? He said, no, we are from a welfare organization.
Okay.
You being a Sardarji, you are not doing a good work. It is our respect. It is our request. Just stop this slaughter and everything. From then, that honor I told my wife, and then she हुक्मनामा देता अभी हल्लो ले बंद करो. फिर काफी साल बाद फिर मैं बंद करता. तो अब सिखिज्म में है लिखा है कि स्लॉटर नहीं करना या बिजनेस नहीं करना.
Sorry, nothing. Nothing has been said. This is all man-made. Please get out of this. This is nothing to do with spirituality. And get out of this. ਸਾਡੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਿਖਿਆ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ. ਨਾਲੇ ਫਿਰ
ਬਾਣੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅਗਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਅਵਗੁਣ ਹਨ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੰਦਰ ਚੀਟਿੰਗ, dishonesty ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, it is much more above killing and slaughtering animals. So finished.
ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਮਰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਹੈਚਰੀਜ਼ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਤਾਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਪਾਲਦੇ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਬੱਚੇ ਹੈਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਆਰਟੀਫੀਸ਼ੀਅਲੀ ਹੈਚ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ. ਨਾਲੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ
everything is done. This corruption, everything is done. They are playing with the nature, playing with nature. Hanji Arvinder.
जी Bhua Ji, ये सवाल बार आया है, so I am repeating it again. Maybe you can give a different perspective. There is a paropkari and there is a territory. That paropkari is sympathizing with that territory, but that territory thinks that you are a hypocrite, which you are not. You are genuine, but he thinks you are a hypocrite. So do you back off or do you continue giving sympathy? Where does that leave you?
देखो बच्चे, if you are a parupkari, the parupkari means that you are a spiritual empathy. When you are empathizing with someone, okay, you are empathizing with someone, or you have a sympathy with someone, or if you are a spiritual empathy, then parupkari, because you use the word parupkari. Parupkari is spiritual empathy. Now parupkari होवे और तुसी किसी ना sympathize करो, अगला बंदा कभी you are a hypocrite. Agar truly you are a parupkari, bindas, it should make no difference to you. It should not even harm you, it should not even touch you. Why? Because I've told you parupkari and is same thing like spiritual what is a spiritual empathy is like somewhat like compassionate empathy. You're carrying wisdom. What were the tools that you're carrying? Compassion. You're carrying all that wisdom along with you. So when you're carrying that wisdom along with you, or agla tonu ye gal keh raha hai ki you are a hypocrite, it's hurting you, na? It's hurting you. It should not hurt you if you are a parupkari, because you have the wisdom. Oh, tu bol raha hai, oh apne wounded area tu bol. This is the wisdom that you're carrying. He's speaking about wisdom. He's right in his own way. He must have gone through a lot. Why should it? Should not affect. It should not affect. If you are a parupkari. Gurmat Yasamna parupkari is a spiritual empathy. And spiritual empathy is higher than compassionate empathy also. Hanji.
Ji. To survive with dignity, what we actually need, more than career, wealth, intelligence, and status, is empathy. Let's all be spiritual empaths. कल साडा इस विषय दा 5वां ते आखिरी सेशन है. इसी तरह जुड़े रहना. धन्यवाद आप जी दा. वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा, वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह.